Those are online. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, we'll get started. So today we'll have a doubt session. So you guys have to tell me, as I mentioned yesterday, you tell me, is there any topic or anything you want me to repeat? Did you all sign before coming? Did you all sign there? So tell me, any topics? Integral. Derivations are important. They are important. Example 2.17. Okay, coming to that. Just a minute. Then I have to open my. Not sure what is happening. Two 2.17. Page number? Here the page number will be slightly different. Okay. So this problem. Okay. This is based on dimensions and dimensional analysis. Right. So what are the applications of dimensional analysis? Can you tell me? There are 3 applications that are associated. What are they? No, not 3 quantities, 3 applications of them. So why do we use that? So basically, if you want the conversion of unit from one system to another, you can think of dimensional analysis. What else is there? To check the dimensional consistency of an equation. You know what is the dimensional consistency, right? Whether the physical quantity on the left-hand side and the physical quantity on the right-hand side have the same dimensions or not. And the third application is to derive a mathematical expression for a physical quantity which is dependent on few other physical quantities. So this is a question which is having the third application which I told you. So if you read the question carefully, what is it telling you? Consider a simple pendulum having a bob attached to a string that oscillates under the action of force of gravity. Unwanted information for this chapter. Okay. Suppose that the time period of oscillation of the simple pendulum depends on its length, mass, and acceleration due to gravity. Derive an expression for the time period using the methods of dimension. So what are they saying? The time period of oscillation. Generally, the time period is represented with the symbol capital T. You know what is the meaning of time period in the first place? So what is the time taken to complete one full oscillation. Suppose the pendulum is like this. This is called as the mean position. You disturb it from here and you take it till here. You're taking it to the extreme position. If you release it from here, due to gravity, it starts oscillating. So when you release it from here, okay, from this point, then this is called 1/4 of oscillation. 1/4 of oscillation. 1/4 of oscillation and 1/4 of oscillation. So totally how many 1/4 of oscillation? 4. 4 into 1/4 is what is going to give you one complete oscillation. The time taken to complete that one oscillation is what we call it as time period. And remember, the reciprocal of time period is called as frequency. Suppose they modify the same question and they ask you, calculate the frequency of oscillation. Now you should not get scared. Frequency is 1 by time period. That's it. Okay. So T is observed to be dependent on its length. So time period is observed to be directly proportional to L power A. It is observed to be directly proportional to M power B, and it is observed to be directly proportional to G power C. So it is dependent on G, but we don't know how many times it is dependent on G. Okay. So then I can say T is equal to K times L power A, M power B, and G power C. Right? I told you, whenever you write an equation in physics, the equation should be dimensionally consistent. What is the meaning of it? Means all the physical, so left hand side, if you see, you have one physical quantity. What is it? Time. So the dimensional formula for time should match with the combination of dimensional formula of L power A, M power B, and G power C. Okay. So what I'm saying, for dimensional consistency, did you understand the second step? Did you understand? What is that K called as? K is some constant, and how is that constant supposed to be? It should be a dimensionless quantity, means it should not have any values associated with them. It should not have any unit or dimension. So for dimensional consistency, I can say dimensional formula of T should be equal to dimensional formula of L power A into the dimensional formula of M raised to the power B into the dimensional formula of G raised to the power C. Is that right? So what is the dimensional formula of time? Capital T, or M0, L0, T0. Okay, if you want me to write it like that, I'll do it. M0, L0, T1. Sorry, not T0, T1 is equal to L power A into dimensional formula of mass M power B into dimensional formula of acceleration due to gravity LT minus 2, because meter per second square, power C. So L power A, M power B, L power C, T power minus 2C is equal to M0, L0, T1. So what is going to be the value of B? Comparing on both the sides. What is the power of M? On the left hand side it's 0, on the right hand side it is B. So B is 0. So first of all, can I write this as M power B, L power A plus C, and T power minus 2C? So compare. B is 0, A plus C is 0, minus 2C is 1. So C will be minus half. So A plus C is minus half, and C is equal to minus A, or A is equal to minus C, which implies A will be equal to plus half. Is that right? So T will be equal to K times L power A, M power B, G power C. So T is equal to K into L power. What is A? Half. M power, what is B? 0. What is G? Minus half. So this will be equal to K into L power half into G power minus half, or this will be K into root of L divided by G, and T is equal to K times root L by G is what is the time period of simple pendulum. Okay, as I told you, you cannot find the value of K. When we see the same expression in 10th chapter, that time you will come to know that K is equal to 2 pi. So the actual formula for time period of a simple pendulum is 2 pi into root of L divided by G. Am I clear? So this is how it works. If you want, you can make a note of it. Just write it down. Those who are online, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Clear intention. Relax. Done. Is that clear? Right? Any other doubt? So this is all about dimensional consistency and the dimensional analysis. Any other doubt that you which you want to get clarified before the exam? Total area. Okay. So is it like you want to find the area or you want to find the percentage error in the area? What exactly do you need? You want to find the area along with percentage. Okay. So you're saying the readings that are given with error itself. Is that what you're saying? Okay. See, for example, I have a problem based on resistance. I'll explain with that. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Now, if you see this question, right? When the current of 2.5 plus or minus 0.5 ampere flows through a wire, it develops a potential difference of 20 plus or minus 1 volt. Okay. Find the resistance of the wire. So here, when they ask the resistance, they are asking with the error as well, right? Suppose you take something like this. After this, I'll come to the area part also. So if you observe, the current is given as 2.5 plus or minus 0.5 ampere, right? So what is the meaning of this? This is measured value and this is the error. What error is it? What is that? Is it absolute error or the average absolute error? It is average absolute error because this is measured value. Measured value is a true value. So true value plus or minus average absolute error is what is this? Then what about the voltage? 20 plus or minus 1 volt. So what is 20? Measured value is a true value, that is average value, plus or minus average absolute error. Is that clear? So our job is to find the resistance. So R is equal to what? R is equal to V divided by I. So how much is going to be the value of V divided by I? In this case, how much is going to be the value of V divided? So you'll not directly divide V with I. You'll only take the average values and then first divide them. What are you going to get? 20 divided by 2.5, which is going to give you 8. Then what about delta R? What about delta R? Sorry? I didn't get you. 2. So that's it. So delta R is 2 means you will have the error as 8 plus or minus 0.5 times 8 plus or minus 2. Okay. So based on this, there are certain things that we need to know. See, for example, delta V by delta 1 by 0.5. Okay. So I actually did it separately. Okay. Sometimes what they will do is they will give you only the errors that are there in the measurement. If the errors alone are known to you, then how you are going to deal with it? For that, there are 4 combinations. Suppose there is a physical quantity Z, which is the sum of 2 other physical quantities A and B. Okay. You know what is the error in A, you know what is the error in B. Then the error in Z will be equal to the error in A plus or minus the error in B. Is that right? Similarly, I have a quantity Z is equal to A into B or Z is equal to A by B. That is, Z is a product of 2 other physical quantities or it is a fraction of 2 other physical quantities. Then if I want to find delta Z, then how am I supposed to do that? Will there be a possibility for me to find delta Z directly? I will not be able to find it. You're able to understand what I'm trying to say? Purida. I'll come to that. So I'll not be able to find the value of delta Z. Rather, I'll be able to find only delta Z by Z. What is delta Z by Z called as? It's called relative error. You have heard of this term, relative error? So what are the procedure is? I'll come to that. So relative error in Z is equal to relative error in A plus the relative error in B. Am I right? It is the same case with respect to both. Right? Now, if you see, what was the previous question? Current was given. How much was the current? I don't remember the values. Plus 0.5. V 20 plus or minus 1. Correct? So if you observe, resistance is V by I. So resistance here is Z, V is A, and I is B. Now, are you able to understand what I'm saying? So in this case, if you observe, I wrote directly delta R as delta V by delta I. But what actually should I have done? I should have actually calculated delta R by R is equal to delta V by V plus delta I by I. So what is delta R by R? Delta R, I don't know. But what was the resistance value that we got? That was 8 is equal to, what is delta V? Look at the expression. 1 divided by 20 plus, what is delta I? 0.5 divided by 2.5. So 1 by 20 plus 1 by 5. Am I right? So it is going to be 1 by 20 plus 1 by 5. I can write it as 4 by 20. Right. It is going to be 1 divided by 4. Delta R by 8. Cancel this. Same story. Did you understand what I did? So whenever you have a physical quantity, which is product of two other physical quantities or ratio of two other physical quantities, then you have to recollect the fact that you can never find the absolute error directly. When I say absolute error, I'm talking of the average absolute error. You can never find it directly. What are you supposed to find? You will only be able to find the relative errors. Relative error is what? Error divided by the original value itself. Is that clear? So I'll come to your point. Okay. I'll create a question and I'll explain it. In the meanwhile, you can copy this. Is there anyone having doubt with the slide 1 that I've shown? Is there anyone having a doubt in this? No. Those who are online, any doubt, guys?
No doubt, sir.
Yes, sir. No doubt, sir.
Okay. Want me to show? I gave the proof for A to B, right? That's there in your notes. So first I'll clear her doubt and I'll complete. So there is one more point also in this which we are supposed to make a note of. What is it? The index is there. Index means the power is existing. Suppose I have Z is equal to A power N. Then how do you find the error? Delta Z by Z, that is the relative error, is equal to N into delta A by A. Why is it so? Because A power N can be written as A multiplied with itself N times. So when Z is a product of two other physical quantities, whenever product or ratio comes, the first thing that comes to my mind is relative error. So I find delta Z by Z is equal to what I would have written delta Z by Z, I would have written it as delta A by A plus delta A by A plus so on with itself N times. So that would give me a value of N times delta A by A. I hope this point is registered in your mind. Sorry. Shall we proceed? Suppose I have Z is equal to A power M into B power N divided by C power P into D power Q. Suppose something like this. Then what is delta Z by Z? See, these are all the possible questions you will get it. Okay. Delta Z by Z. m into delta A by A plus n into delta B by B plus P into delta C by C plus Q into delta D by D. One common mistake that people do is they put a minus for the denominators. Don't do that. Because the error that you're trying to find is the maximum error that is possible. Okay. So this is the maximum relative error. It's actually not the relative error. It is the maximum value of relative error because you will get 4 combinations. Out of the 4 combinations, whichever is maximum is what we take. That is what we would have shown in the derivation. Right. Now, answering your question. Suppose the same question is there. Instead of current, if I take that to be length, which is 2.5 plus or minus 0.5 meter. Same thing. Okay. And instead of voltage, I call it as breadth, which is going to be 20 plus or minus 1 meter. If you see the numbers, they are the same. Right. Now I want to, what do you want to find? You want to find the area. So I'm interested to find the area. So area is written as A plus or minus delta A. That is a measured value of A, correct? So I have absolute values here. So what am I supposed to do? You tell me. Area will be equal to 2.5 into 20. How much is that? 100? Correct? 50. So 5 by 2 into 20. That is 50, no? 50 meters square. Delta A is how much? 0.5 into 1, which is going to give me 0.5 meters square. So what is going to be the measured value? 50 plus or minus 0.5 meters square. Now, I want to do the same thing using that bigger method. So what is area? Area is a product of length and breadth. So delta A divided by A will be equal to how much? Delta L divided by L plus delta B divided by B. What is delta L divided by L? 0.5 by 2.5, which is 1 by 5, plus delta B by B is 1 by 20. So what is delta A by A? Delta A is what I need to find, and delta A is 50. So delta A will be equal to how much is answer? 4 is 4 by 20. So it is going to be 5 by 20, and this is going to be 50, which is 1 by 4 still. Right? Am I missing something? So which implies delta A is equal to 50 divided by 4. Why am I getting a different answer? So delta L by L, that is 0.5 by 2.5, which is 4 by 20. Five by 20, which is going to be 1.4. So it is going to be 12.5. It's a very big value. So delta A by A. So I would like to make a correction. This is the accurate value. Okay. So I would not suggest you to go with this. Don't do this. Because whenever it is a product of 2 other physical quantities, I would like to correct myself. So whenever you're dealing with 2 physical quantities, which is a product or division, go with this method itself. Whatever this is giving is the accurate value. Okay. I hope you understood the method. No confusion. Right? I'll tell you why it worked in the previous case. Because it is one thing, it is ratio, and the power of the variables that were involved was 1. The index was 1. That is why we got same. So I suggest that is not a shortcut. Don't go with it. Okay, go with this absolute method. Right? And one more thing that you need to concentrate upon is the significant figures. So do this second problem. If the length of the cylinder is L is equal to 4 plus or minus 0.01 centimeter, radius is 0.250 plus or minus 0.001 centimeter, and mass is 6.25 plus or minus 0.001 gram. Calculate the percentage error in the determination of density. But before you proceed, what are the basic requirement that you need to know? When they ask you about the density, you need to know that it is mass by volume. So mass is given, and look at the shape that is given. That is a cylinder. So what is the volume of a cylinder? Pi r square h, or I can say pi r square L. You can ask me, why did they give it as h? Why did they call the height of the cylinder? Why did they use the word length of the cylinder? It's simple. If you take a cylinder and place it vertically, you call that as height. If you place the cylinder horizontally, you call it as length. So in this case, the cylinder is kept horizontal. How do we proceed? So can someone tell me the value length is how much? No? 0.01 centimeter. R you know? Okay. 6.25 plus or minus 0.01 gram. Okay. We know that density is equal to mass divided by volume. So mass divided by volume is pi r square h. So how you show the steps? Delta rho by rho is equal to delta m by m plus delta pi by pi plus 2 times delta r by r plus delta h by h. Why did you strike off? Maybe what you wrote is correct. Remember, I'll confuse you. Okay? Don't be in a hurry. There is a mistake in that statement. I know why you would have struck. Delta pi by pi should not be written. Why? Because pi is a constant. It's a fixed value, right? Why will it have an error? So this is wrong. Did you strike it off because of that? Calculation mistake. Huh? So delta rho by rho is equal to, what is delta m? 0.01 divided by 6.25 plus 2 times. Guys, did you understand? You should not write delta pi by pi n because it's a constant. Never write errors for constant. 2 times delta r by r is how much? 0.001 divided by 0.250 plus delta h by h or delta l by l for that matter. Let me not change the variables. Where is it? Pi r square L. It will be delta L divided by L. Delta L 0.01 divided by 4.00. Now what you can do is you would have observed that same number of decimal values will be there for the true value and the absolute error. So multiply and divide it with those many number of zeros. I mean, the ones which are having those many zeros. So multiply and divide with 100, 1 by 625 plus 2 into 1 divided by 250 plus 1 divided by 400. This is delta rho by rho. Can you find the value of this? This is 125. Let me see how many I should have put. So between 625 and 125, what is the LCM? Obviously 625, because 125 5 is 625. So this is 1 by 625 plus 4 by 625. Sorry, 5 by 625 plus 1 divided by 400. So how much will you get? 6 divided by 625 plus 1 divided by 400. Solve this. How much is it? 25001. So it's simple. Correct. 3025 is the numerator divided by 625 into 400. Otherwise, what you could have written is, so this will be just cross multiply 3025 divided by 625 into 400. So 625 is divisible by 25. How many times? 25 times. Right. This is divisible by 25. How many times? 1. 52 will come. 2 and 1. 121 times. So 121 divided by 25 into 400 is how much? 1000? 10,000. Huh? Right? So this is delta rho by rho. But what did we find? This is 1.21 divided by 100. Huh? This is the fractional error. But what did they ask? Percentage error. So delta rho by rho into 100 is equal to 1.21 by 100 into 100%. Cancel this. Answer will be 1.21%. Is that the answer given? Is it clear? Can you try the next problem? Can we increase the speed? Can you try increasing the speed? Do it fast. The acceleration due to gravity is determined by a simple pendulum of length L is equal to 100 plus or minus 0.1 centimeter. The time period is 2 plus or minus 0.01 second. Find the maximum percentage error, the value of G. For that, you need to know the previous formula that we derived. T is equal to 2 pi into root L by G. So, online, are you doing? Abhinav, Harihar, and
Yes,
Lokita, Netra, and Varshini. Are you doing? So, first, what are we supposed to do? T is equal to 2 pi into root of L by G. That you wrote. they are asking. They want the error in G. So write G in terms of all other parameters. So what is confusion? One mistake I'm able to observe is everybody substitute the right. But when this is on the other side, it's not. Yes. Times. Minus 2 times. So 1 point. So if you're done with this, go to the next one. Don't wait for it. So, yes, I'm able to see some common mistakes. Let me do this. What is the problem number 3? See, T is equal to 2 pi root L by G. The first hint that I would give you is even before you substitute the value, bring the unknown to the left hand side and all the known parameters to the right hand side. Till then, don't substitute any value. So, I need G, I don't need root G. So, I need to square on both the sides. T square will be equal to 4 pi square into L by G. Accepted? Appa G and our 4 pi square into L divided by T square. But what is that I need to find? The percentage error in acceleration due to gravity. Maximum is delta G by G is equal to 4 pi square has no error. Delta L by L plus 2 times delta T by T. This is what happens. Upper delta G by G is what we need to find. Delta L is how much? 0.1 divided by L is how much? 100. Plus 2 times, what is delta T? What is T? 2. So 0.1 by 100 and 10 by 1000. Sorry, 1 by 1000. I don't want the decimal value at all. 1 by 1000. 2 and 2 are gone. Plus 1 by 100. Can I write it like this? So this I'll make it as 10 by 1000. Does it make sense? Right? So it is going to be 11 divided by 1000, which is delta G by G. So it is 1.1 divided by 100. This is a fractional error. So percentage error will be 1.1 by 100 into 100 percentage. 100 and 100 are gone. Answer will be 1.1%. Am I clear with this? So this is an important kind of problem. See, this problem, don't treat it like a problem alone. This will be, as I mentioned, this will be helpful in your lab as well. Especially when you go to 12th, they will ask you, in Viva, they will ask you, how did you calculate this error? And the time if you don't know, you have been planned. So yeah. So because I told you already, units and measurements, whichever measurement you're trying to take in this world will definitely have error because you are human beings. Will definitely have error. The only thing is who's having less error is more accurate out of them. But you need to understand how to calculate the amount of error you encounter. So you need to know the calculation. Purida. Right? Did you step into lab till now? You have not yet been? You have been, no? 1 year caliper use பண்ணிக்கலாம். 1 year caliper screw gauge you would have used. Okay, 1 year caliper you would have used, no? So that is used to measure the depth and all those things, right? At that point, they will take the depth of the cylinder and all, they'll make this measurement. So you should be in a position to frame a piston. Breathe up. Right? So I would like to do a problem which is based on dimensional consistency. This 8th one, I would say comparatively a slightly tougher question. Okay, which I will do, but I want you all to answer whichever part you know. This is another application with respect to dimensional analysis. Now listen to this. There is a mathematical expression like this, where they say V is equal to AT plus B divided by T plus C plus V naught. Here A necessarily need not be acceleration. It can be some physical quantity, which we are not concerned about. Is a dimensionally valid equation. This is the most important point. What do I mean by dimensionally valid equation? Means it is a dimensionally consistent equation. Left hand side physical quantity is the same, is having the same dimension as that of the combination of the right hand side physical quantities. Correct? So obtain the dimensional formula for A, B, and C, where B is the velocity, T is the time, and V naught is the initial velocity. Okay. So if you observe, one point to be noted is in any mathematical operation, you can add two physical quantities. You can add two physical quantities which are of same dimension. This is the first important point that you need to make a note of. If you're adding two physical quantities, you can add only if they are of the same dimension, in the sense you cannot add velocity and acceleration, because velocity is a different physical quantity, acceleration is a different physical quantity. Similarly, you cannot add displacement to velocity. You can add only velocity to velocity. That is why if you see, when you write V is equal to U plus AT, this equation is there. No? V is what on the left hand side is the final velocity, is equal to sum of two other physical quantities. What are they? One is initial velocity plus there is another physical quantity which is a product of two other physical quantities. What are the two physical quantities they are? Acceleration and time. If you see the dimensions of acceleration and time, it will be the same as that of velocity. What I'm trying to say is, had this equation been V is equal to U plus 8 is wrong, because this U represents velocity, but A represents acceleration. You cannot add velocity to an acceleration. But acceleration multiplied with time. Acceleration is what? Meter per second square. Time is second. Cancel banana, you will get meter per second. Meter per second is a unit of velocity. If you write it in dimension, it is L by T or LT minus 1. It's the same dimension. Breathe. So this is a very, very, very important point to be noted. That is the logic on which we are going to solve this problem. Okay. If you understand this logic, solving this problem is very simple. So tell me one thing. Dimensional formula of V should be equal to dimensional formula of AT, except. So what is the dimensional formula of V? LT minus 1 should be equal to the dimensional formula of A into the dimensional formula of T is T. So I can write it as dimensional formula of A into dimensional formula of T. Am I right? So what are they asking? Dimensional formula of A one then up LT minus 1 divided by T, which will give me LT minus 2, which is nothing but acceleration. In this case, that A is acceleration, no doubt. Okay. In a similar way, tell me what unit should this physical quantity be divided by T plus U should have? Same as that of velocity. So can I say the dimensional formula of B is equal to the dimensional formula of B divided by the dimensional formula of T plus C? Does it make sense? Right? But here, if you observe the denominator, T is time. They have given in the question clearly. T is time. So times dimensional formulas T. So time can be added to which other physical quantity? To time only. So from this, what can I conclude? Dimensional formula of C is also T only. That is M0, L0, T1. Am I clear, guys? Right. So dimensional formula of B will be equal to dimensional formula of B divided by the dimensional formula of T. Upper dimensional formula of B and our what will it be? Dimensional formula of B into dimensional formula of T. That is LT minus 1 multiplied with T, which is going to be L. So to put it in simple terms, B is a physical quantity which represents either a distance or displacement or whatever it is. It represents some length. Is it clear? So what is the dimensional formula of V naught? Need not even do. It's the same as that of B LT minus 1. Am I clear, guys? So this is one kind of a problem which is based on dimensional consistency. So please make a note of it. Before you make a note of it, write down the equation. Should I proceed? So try the 9th and 10th. So do the 9th one. So there is an object which is freely falling under the gravitational force. its velocity after traversing a height h, sorry, distance h is v. If v depends upon the gravitational acceleration g and distance as kadayadu, okay, and distance full stop, prove with the help of dimensional analysis that v is equal to k into root gh, where k is a constant. So how to proceed? V is directly proportional to, what is the first step is? G power a h power b. What is the next step? V is equal to k times g power a h power b, where k is a dimensionless constant. What is the third step? Dimensional formula of v is equal to dimensional formula of g to the power a into the dimensional formula of h to the power b. So what is the dimensional formula of g? LT minus 2 to the power a, h is L power b. So L power a, t power minus 2a, and L power b is what? L power a plus b and t power minus 2a. This will be LT minus 1. Am I right? So what is a plus b, guys? 1 minus 2a is minus 1. So a is half. A half na pa b odu. B is also half. Where you get the answer? So V will be equal to k times g power half into h power half, which will be k times root of g. That's it. Any idea what that value of k is? It is root. You want to know how? You already know the answer, but you don't want to think. That's it. If anyone is copying, please copy it, then I'll explain. See, due to space constraint, I went from top down, bottom to top. Okay. Shall we proceed? Yeah. See, it's very simple. The meaning of the question is object is traveling under the influence of gravity. Okay. Generally, when it is traveling under the influence of gravity, right, they told after it has traversed a distance h, right, its velocity becomes capital V. Generally, when you talk about an object which is dropped means initial velocity is 0. So you know this formula v square minus u square is equal to 2as. V square minus what was the initial velocity? 0 square is equal to 2 into what is the acceleration? What is the distance traveled? So V square is equal to 2gh. V is equal to, now you know the value of K. How much is it? Root 2. Purida? So there is the meaning of dimensional. I told you, right, when we spoke about the dimensional analysis method, we cannot find the value of constant directly. Like you can find it either through the derivation or through some experimental aspect. Okay. Shall we do the last problem in this? Try this. I want you all to try. Guys, those who are online, are you trying? Any doubt?
No,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So there is a gas bubble from an explosion underwater. Okay. There is an explosion and there is a gas bubble which starts oscillating with a time period which is observed to be proportional to P power A, rho power B, and E power C, where P is the static pressure. What is static pressure and all those things we'll see later as a pressure. Sorry. Rho is the density. Okay, and E is the energy. Find the value of A, B, and C. This is also a slightly tough question, but I want you to try. One minute. Energy. E is the energy. So you want the dimensional formula? Try deriving. Close the book, close the book. Let's think. Let's use our brain. Let's think. So pressure is what basically? You know what is pressure? Force per area. So pressure is force by area. So whenever you want to write the dimension, right, do this rough work. What is force basically? Force is mass into acceleration and the area is capital A. How is mass measured? Kilogram. We'll write the dimensional formula later. First, I'll always write the units. Then I'll take it to the dimensional formula. Acceleration is written as meter per second square divided by area is written as meter square. So meter and meter are gone. You have kilogram meter inverse second power minus 2. So this is the formula for unit for pressure. Then how will you write the dimensional formula? M L minus 1 T minus 2. Am I right? So is the dimensional formula. Right? So similarly, what will be the dimensional formula for density? Density is mass by volume. Mass is measured in kilogram. Volume is measured in meter cube. So I'll see my units are only in terms of kilogram, meter, and second because MLT, mass, length, and time. So what will be the dimensional formula of rho? Right. Correct only. Proceed. M L meter cube ma upper length cube. So L power minus 3. Preda. Similarly, what is energy? Okay, energy I accept. It might be slightly difficult for you, but still you can do it. You can say E is equal to mc square, or you can think of gravitational potential energy, mgh. mgh, or you can think of half mv square. That is also kinetic energy. Right. M is measured in kilogram. Gravitation, acceleration due to gravity is meter per second square. What is height? Meter. So kilogram meter square per second square. What is the dimensional formula of E? M L square T minus 1. Is there any doubt till here? Is everyone clear with this? Right? Yes. So before you proceed with the problem, check if there is no error in what you have copied. So the dimensional formula of pressure is ml minus 1 T minus 2. Is that right? And the dimensional formula of density is ml minus 3, and the dimensional formula of energy is ml square T minus 2. Now, what is the question? Time period is proportional to pressure power A, density power B, and energy power C. Correct order? Okay. Then what should happen? Dimensional formula of T should be equal to the dimensional formula of pressure to the power A, dimensional formula of density to the power B, and the dimensional formula of E to the power C. What is the dimensional formula of pressure? ml minus 1 T square, sorry, T minus 2 to the power A. Density is ml minus 3 to the power B, and energy is ml square T minus 2 to the power C. இது என்னவா இருக்கும்? M0 L0 T1 m power A plus B plus C L power minus A minus 3B plus 2C and T power minus 2A minus 2C plus 3C. Sorry. Correct? Huh? After this, everything is mathematical. You do it. Did anyone get the answer? Is anyone stuck with solving? Not getting an idea to solve? Which one is 0? Everything 0. Okay. What is B? Half, correct. Minus hour and get answer. A is minus 5 by 6 and C is 1 by 3. Now, where did you go wrong? Check if this is the expression you got. You make a mistake in the exponent part, you're gone. So be careful. Hariraga, what about you? In the expression match, this is what you're getting. Your answer is right. Simple, guys. See, minus 2A minus 2C is equal to half a. So if I take minus 2 outside, A plus C is 1. So A plus C is minus half. Correct? First expression I have A plus B plus C as 0. Upper A plus C will be minus B. But I already have A plus C as minus half. So minus half is equal to minus B. Now, how much is B? It is half. Correct? So when B is half, I'll take this and substitute it here, the second expression. Then I'll get minus A minus 3 by 2. Guys, I'm assuming everybody is good with linear equations in 2 or 3 variables, whatever you call it. So A or minus A plus 2C vandu 3 by 2. Correct? Did you understand what I did? Right? So minus A plus 2C is 3 by 2. But I have A plus C as minus half. So when I add both, I get 3C is equal to 1. Upper C will be 1 by 3. When A plus C is half and A plus 1 by 3 is half, then A will be equal to 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3. 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3 should give me 5 by 6. Minus 5 by 6 is what you told, right? Oh, there's minus half. Sorry. I'm wrong. Minus half, minus half. So minus half, there's minus 5 by 6. Is everyone clear with this? Right? As I told you, it is slightly a tougher problem only, but if you're able to solve this, that's the ultimate. Right. Yeah. So we have covered errors, we have covered dimensional analysis. What else do you want me to explain? If you feel it's important or your teacher has told it is important. See, chain rule of differentiation I explained. But integration, did they teach something called as byparts? No, no. That is chain rule. That is for differentiation. She would have not called for integration for sure. How easy would a sign of Explorer and CBSE? It's not easy. Substitution method. That is not needed also. See, you are learning mathematical physics only for some derivations in motion and state, and already I explained for you. Right? So chain rule is there only for differentiation. Integration, it's not called chain rule, it's called byparts, which is not needed. Unless you're good with functions, you cannot solve them. So chain rule I'll explain. I'll come again. So there are three formulae that you need to know with respect to differentiation. Shall I proceed by the way? Or is there anyone who's copying it? You're done. Yeah. Those are online. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when I talk about differentiation, right, there are three basic formulae that you're expected to know. One is x power n, one is for sin x, and the third is for cos x. So this is the function. This is the derivative of function. Did I tell this? So if you say y is equal to f of x, okay, I'm assuming you will know, you would have seen this by now. Functions here. Correct? So there is something called as first derivative, second derivative, third derivative, something like that. Okay. Try to understand this. I've used two words here. One is called as differentiation. The second is called as derivative. I use a word called as derivative. What is the difference between both? I'll come again. I use the word differentiation and I use the word derivative. What is the difference between both? So if a function is given, for the function, if you follow something called a differentiation, which is a process, and you get an output, right? That output is what is called as derivative. So when you talk about differentiation, you say first order differentiation, second order differentiation, third order differentiation. So differentiation, what is the prefix you add? Order. So that order is decided by how many times you're differentiating something. Okay. See, this is needed for me to explain the chain rule process. That is why I'm going slightly in depth. Listen to this carefully. So y is equal to f of x now, that is a function. So if I differentiate it once, okay, whenever you're differentiating something, the first thing is you need to mention the variable with which you're differentiating. So who decides the variable is whatever is there inside that f decides the variable. If I take this y is equal to f of x, this is called as the dependent variable, and f of x is called as the independent variable. Am I clear with this? So if I write dy, it doesn't make sense. I need to tell I am differentiating y with respect to x. So how do you read it? Dy by dx, you read it, but the actual meaning is derivative of y with respect to x is equal to, you write it like this, f, and you put a dash on top of it, of x. So it is read as f dash of x. Okay. So this is called as first order derivative. Am I clear with this? Similarly, if I differentiate this again, I'll call it as d square y by dx square. The actual meaning is d by dx of dy by dx. This will be called as f double dash of x. How do you read it? It's called second order derivative. Like this, the number of times you differentiate is what we call it as the order of the derivative. Am I clear? For example, if I have y is equal to, let's say I have x power 5. Okay. Then what is dy by dx? 5x power 4. Then what is d square y by dx square? 20x cube. What is d cube y by dx cube? Are you able to understand? So like this, it keeps changing. This is the order in which you differentiate. Okay. Similarly, you have something called as chain rule. So when will you use chain rule? Is when you have a function within another function. So how you identify is, if I have y is equal to x power n, that is a function. That is a basic function for which you already have a ready-made formula nx power n minus 1. But if I have y is equal to, instead of sin x, if I have, sorry, x power n, if I have sin x to the power n, then what will you do? So what are the three formulae that I gave you? You either can directly use x power n, you can use it. Or if you have only sin x, you can use it. Or if you have only cos x power 1, yes, you can use it. But here the concept is sin x raised to the power n. How do I use it? For that, I need to treat sin x like x and then first solve it. So dy by dx will be equal to. So what is the famous formula that you have? Something raised to the power n. That is x power n. So if that sin x was x, how will you deal it? You will write n into x power n minus 1. The only difference is, instead of writing x, you will write sin x to the power of n minus 1. You will put a dot. The dot is into. Means you have not completed the differentiation. Into, I need to differentiate the function which replaces my x. What is the function that replaces x? Sin x. Into, I should write it as d by dx of sin x. This is what is called as chain rule. Okay. So I cannot go in depth because this function has a name, which is called as composite function. Otherwise, if I start explaining, people get confused. But did you understand when to use it? Right? So n times sin x power n minus 1 into d by dx of sin x is going to be cos x. This is the answer. Okay, first I suggest everybody to copy it. Write it from the order of differentiation that I told you. Did I give you the formula for chain rule? F dash of g of x into g dash of x. Did I give something like that? I gave f into g dash, f dash of g into x into g dash of x. Dot d by dx of g of x. That is chain rule. Okay. So are you ready to solve a first copy answer? So now you were able to answer what is first order derivative, second order derivative. Breathe. Okay, you can ask me where is this useful in physics? Can someone tell me? Motion is straight line. So first order derivative of displacement is what? With time. First order differentiation of displacement with time is velocity. Second order derivative is, third order derivative is, it's called jerk. J-E-R. Right? Am I clear, guys? So chain rule you copy. Okay. Now I have a question. Y is equal to, I want you to differentiate sine of cos x. It is not sin x into cos x. If it is sin x into cos x, what will you do? You use a rule called as product rule. UV. This is sine of cos x. Function within another function. So had it been only sin x, it's a normal function. But it is not sin x, sine of some other function, cos x. Dy by dx, what am I supposed to do? Start with sine. So what is the derivative of sine? Cos. Cos of what? Cos x. Into d by dx of, what is the derivative of the function inside? Cos x. Minus sin x. Into minus sin x. So you get minus sin x into cos of cos x. So going forward for into, you will be using a dot. Get used to it. Rita, can you do another problem? That's it. Physics, maths, you deal with x. Physics, you deal with t. T is time. So dy by dt. What is it? Cos of cos t into d by dt of cos t. Are you able to understand what I'm saying? Okay, simple. Math you use x, physics you use t. Both are same. Cos of cos t into minus sin t. That's the same thing. X is replaced with t. Okay, since you asked with physics, okay, let me give you something. Shall I go slightly tough? You want to try? R is equal to, okay, where R is some radius. Let's not worry about what it is. A sine omega t or A into sine omega t plus cos omega t. Find dr by dt and d square r by dt square. Okay, R is radius. Even before you proceed, right, I asked you dr by dt, right? What does it represent? Derivative of a length with respect to time is what? Speed or velocity, whatever, depending on the context. So what is d square r by dt square? Obviously, acceleration. Means I'm asking you to differentiate this function twice where A is a constant. So whenever you are differentiating, the constant is multiplied with the function, what should you do to that constant? Bring it out of the derivative and then differentiate the function. So how to proceed? Who can tell me? dr by dt is equal to d by dt of a sine omega t plus, or I will write a into sine omega t plus cos omega t. Can I do that? So what will I get? A will come out into d by dt of, what is sine omega t's derivative? Shall I do it directly? What is the derivative of sine omega t? Derivative of sine is cos. Cos of what? Whatever is angle, write the same angle into, what should I differentiate? Omega t. Derivative of omega t with respect to t, where omega is also a constant. D by dt of omega t. How much is it? That's it. Plus, what is the derivative of cos? Minus sine omega t into d by dt of omega t. Purida. Omega t. Now this angle is there. I have to differentiate that angle separately. Had it been only sine t, answer would have been cos t. But t, what is there? There is a coefficient. So anything deviating from the normal function, you have to use chain rule. Okay. So this will be a into cos omega t into derivative of omega t is omega minus sine omega t into omega. So what will happen? Omega into a into cos omega t minus sine omega t is what is dr by dt. Observe, if there is any doubt, let me know. Right? Shall I proceed? So what is the second derivative of this? D square r by dt square will be equal to d by dt of omega into a into cos omega t minus sine omega t. So what will this happen? Omega a I'll take out. What is the derivative of cos? Minus sine omega t into d by dt of, same logic. Inga thirupi omega t irukku. This is disturbing me. Into d by dt of omega t minus derivative of sinus cos omega t into d by dt of the same omega t. Okay. This will be omega into a into minus sine omega t into omega minus cos omega t into omega. So what will the answer be? Minus omega square a into sine omega t plus cos omega t. So to put it in simple terms, it is minus omega square into, what is a sine omega t plus cos omega t called as? That is the question that I gave you. And this is, you will remember this. This is a very, very important expression in physics. In your 9th grade, did you ever hear the term called as centripetal acceleration? Centripetal acceleration. In gravitation chapter, you take a stone and tie it to a thread and put it in a circular motion. You take a thread, tie a stone at the end of it, and put it in circular motion. What acceleration is acting towards the center? Centripetal. Centripetal now, center, pital means seeking. So if there is an acceleration which is seeking towards the center of circle, call it as centripetal acceleration. How the mathematical expression is this. Okay, anyways, you need not worry about in this chapter. We'll learn about this in fourth chapter. Okay, am I clear to this point? So they cannot go tough beyond this. So you should be able to do it. Anything else, guys? That's it, we can wind up. Is it all? Right. So Tuesday we can have a test, right? As I mentioned. Don't bunk, okay? We'll keep all the papers for the class alone without informing. Okay? Write it. Whether you know or not, right? That's it, right? Those are all in any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, then we'll wind up.